So today we are talking with Jody in Denver. Hi. Your life must be really stressful, huh? All right. Well, what is it you would like to talk about today?
Well, I'd like to talk about my husband gambling our son's car payment away.
That's got to be a very stressful situation for you.
It is because I don't have the money to pay and cover that car payment, and my son's just 18 and doesn't have extra money for 2 car payments in 1 month.
That's understandable. Does he normally gamble away bill money? Is this a problem with a reoccurrent problem, I mean?
He believes he doesn't have a gambling problem because he doesn't gamble all the time. However, it's several times a year and it's thousands of dollars at a time.
When would you say the gambling occurs? You said several times a year. Is it big stressors, big holidays type of deal, or is it just a random Tuesday?
If he can get cash in hand, he's gonna go gamble.
Okay. Cash in hand. Have you tried talking with him, with doctors, with maybe trying Gambling Anonymous?
Yes, I have gone with him for Gamblers Anonymous. I've gone to counseling with him. His mindset is that he can control it because it's not a problem.
But you view it as a problem?
Yes.
And when he does gamble, what do you feel? What is your mindset when he does this?
I'm betrayed. He's lied to get to where he's going to gamble, then shuts his phone off, and then will lie and try to make this out to be my fault that he ended up going and gambling. He's a master manipulator at times, and he doesn't get that this is a problem. It's his problem. And he wants me to be the bad guy for it. And that's not gonna happen. I'm not going to be the bad guy.
Right.
I don't have a gambling problem. I'm not going to counseling anymore. I'm not going to Gamblers Anonymous anymore. It's just, he goes and does the bill money that way, then I don't know. He'll have to leave or something.
How do you feel about him leaving? What would your thoughts be?
That everyone's going to blame me for kicking him out when I know he's sick, because gambling's an illness. So that's me giving up on somebody who's sick, even though they don't view themselves sick.
So it's more of a mental illness. When you say sick, more of a mental illness than a physical ailment. Okay. Are other people's opinions important to you? How do you feel if Tim your husband doesn't like you? How would that make you feel? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. He has no respect for me if he's not willing to get help.
Do you still respect him?
No.
Is there anything he could do to get that respect back?
He could get treatment, do something, telling me that he can control it in his mind because his mindset's different, is not controlling or getting help for his gambling. He doesn't believe he needs to go to meetings or do counseling or any of that. And as long as I ensure he doesn't get $1 in his pocket, he won't gamble.
So you become basically the dungeon master of all the money.
Yes, because then he'll get it in his mind. He works and earns money, and he has the right to have money in his pocket. And then he'll stop direct deposit, and he'll have money in his pocket.
Have you talked with your son about his father's gambling?
Yes, I made his dad tell him what he did with the car payment money.
How was it? What happened?
his son wanted to punch him. His son put a hole in the wall of my living room. Because his dad has chose gambling over him his entire life.
Now, do you stay with him because you feel you need to?
I did for a while. No. I'm gonna get back all my money that I've spent over the years. I'm gonna siphon off and have my money that I had before we got married back.
And when you view your future, do you still view it with him, or
no?
What do you view for your future?
Just being single. Alone. I mean, I'm alone in my own marriage, so I'm fine with the future.
Okay. Being alone doesn't scare you?
No.
How close are you with your kids?
I think I'm pretty close to my kids. Get to have my grandkids.
Yeah. How often do you see them?
I see the grandkids weekly.
Good.
Every weekend. They're with Grandma.
Do you think it'll be a better future for them?
Without him?
Yep.
I think them not having to see the stress of somebody that gambles and loses it like that is better. I know that being around somebody who's an addict is not good.
Do you have any thoughts, buddy? Do you have anything you want to say? No? Well, besides your husband, any other stressors that you have?
No. My husband's my stressor. And if he doesn't get out, I'm gonna walk away.
That's good. Mental health awareness is a big issue, especially from the quarantine of the past year. Yeah. Many people are seeking help through therapy, not only for relationship issues, but also in general, just to help with any signs of depression. One of the big things doctors are doing are pushing the health risk assessment, which is the PHQ-9. It's basically 9 sets of questions that ask you, how often have you felt down, depressed, or lonely in the past 2 weeks, how hard this makes you, and after a certain point, if you answer past 9, it opens up to a lot more questions, not a lot more, like 5 more questions, which basically puts you into what they call the Columbia suicide risk, which is if you've answered past 9 points. Now if you answer past, say, 15, past 15, they bring up talking about how at risk you are for suicide. Well, yeah. It's supposed to be done yearly for patients. Definitely a good idea. Yes, because the suicide rates are getting higher and higher every year. And that's a big concern, huh? Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for your opinion. And I really hope it gets better for you.
Thank you.
I don't feel that this assignment adequately shows how I can effectively therapeutically communicate with my patients. Right now I'm working in urgent care, so we see a lot of patients based on urgent needs. All of my patients who come in are alone, are scared, and are in pain in some way. And so my biggest part is to make sure they feel heard by me. Their issue, they're coming in, they have a sore throat. Well, it's not like, oh my goodness, a sore throat. At the same time, I take the time to make sure that they feel I understand their issue. I've had this sore throat for 3 days and I have to go teach a kindergarten class. This isn't working for me. I acknowledge the condition. I also kind of go through what the day's been like with them, with this condition, sore throat, whether that's that or migraine. I had recently a patient come in who has been experiencing some sort of viral infection, and significant other is in the hospital right now, inpatient, having their baby, just had their baby, super excited. So I let that patient express to me what they've learned going through all of this, that, and the other thing, and how they're feeling, and going over just their general well-being. It gives them a chance to vent about that, whatever issue it is, and then also explain to me, like, this is what I think it is, you know. A lot of patients say, oh, I went on Dr. Google to find what my symptoms were. And you got to take the time to explain that Dr. Google's not always the most correct, but I always find a polite way to say, or a joking way when I feel it is appropriate to say, you know, Dr. Google isn't always the best, but I'm glad that you came in to see us, and I'm glad that you're getting seen for this. Another portion that the assignment didn't take into consideration is making sure that your patient refers back to their primary care. Because when you see the patient, not many urgent cares have nurses. And if the patient's seen in the ER is not going to say, oh, make sure you talk to your primary care. But it's making sure you have the patient understand you want your primary care to refer you out to derm for this boil, because it's a reoccurring issue. And as much as I love lancing a good boil and getting all the fun stuff out, you don't want to go through this monthly. You don't want to go through this weekly. Heck, once a year is way too often. So that's where I express a lot to my patients. Okay, have you talked to primary care? Oh, well, they're too busy for me. You know, you just got to reach out to them. And if my patients don't have a primary care, the first thing I tell them every single time is, you call, get scheduled. Your new patient appointment might not be until April 30th, but you need to be on that list for continuous care. Once you get on that list, once they say they put you on their wait list and your appointment isn't until July, if they have a cancellation, they get you in and they can facilitate your care with everybody else. And that makes your life so much less stressful. And that's where I feel like the assignment kind of lacks. Something I can't give with just talking with my mom about issues I already know she has. I know my stepdad's a gambler. I know 2 years ago he gambled away my brother's money. And I feel like HIPAA really took away from me adequately displaying what I wish I could display for you, for my therapeutic verbal and nonverbal skills. Yeah. So sorry, rant.